Hello and welcome back to the Life on the Wrist podcast. Watches and Wonders is on its way for 2024. There's a lot of excitement around the watch industry right now about Watches and Wonders. It's really a time where watch enthusiasts, watch media can all get together to celebrate the releases of watches over the next for the year, and I think it's always a great time because you can see all the innovations coming out of watch brands and watches that I think will be exciting for collectors and enthusiasts to see. Watches and Wonders is taking place April 9th to April 15th this year, which is next week. So not next week, but the following week we'll have a full episode where we'll discuss a lot of the new watch releases at Watches and Wonders. So stay tuned for that, but this episode will talk about a few things that have been released in the watch world, and next week we'll probably do the same just before we do sort of our Watches and Wonders episode for 2024. There's a few things that I wanted to discuss on this podcast. We'll start off with a very interesting video released by Swatch. So if you didn't know, last week we covered Swatch's release of a new Omega MoonSwatch, which is a collaboration between Omega and Swatch, where they have created a MoonSwatch, which is essentially a Swatch iteration of what an Omega Speedmaster looks like. Last week, or I think it was last week, we covered the fact that they released a white dial Snoopy version of the MoonSwatch, which obviously has become an extremely popular piece, and many collectors and Swatch collectors have been jumping to try and get one. A couple of days ago, Swatch released a video on their Instagram where Snoopy kind of walked onto the stage holding a cake, and there was a white candle and a black candle, and he went to blow out the candles and only the white candle went out. Which is quite an interesting little teaser by Swatch, which definitely garnered a lot of attention in the watch community. There are a lot of theories sort of circulating about what this means. I'll go through a couple of them. I won't sort of give you my opinion, but I'll give you a couple of the opinions what this means. The first one, the fact that Snoopy could blow out the white candle. Many think that this means that the white version of the MoonSwatch, or the Snoopy MoonSwatch, might be discontinued, and that there won't be any other version, any other pieces of this Snoopy MoonSwatch sold. This will obviously drive the values of these pieces substantially higher, considering the fact that I think this is one of the few limited edition MoonSwatches released. The other the fact that there is a black candle in this that Snoopy could not blow out, a lot of people are thinking that maybe this is meaning that there will be a Snoopy MoonSwatch that is in black that will be released. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen, when it will be released. Maybe Watches and Wonders is a great time for that to happen, or that week might be when that happens. But I think Snoopy not being able to blow out that candle might mean that there's something coming down with Snoopy-inspired. Snoopy, maybe a black version of a Snoopy watch might be coming out. The other sort of theory is definitely the fact that maybe this is an April Fool's joke. Who knows? I don't think Snoopy would, or I don't think Swatch would do something like that. It was also they didn't release it on April 1st. It was actually released on March 31st. So whatever this really means, there's a lot of theories circulating, and we'll have to see what Swatch ends up doing with this. I think the success of the Snoopy MoonSwatch cannot be understated. And if it is a limited edition, or no additional pieces are going to be sold, it definitely signifies a very important swatch in sort of the history of the brand. And next up, I wanted to actually give kudos to an article written at Revolution Watch about Patek Philippe's rare handcrafts for 2024. Patek Philippe actually released 2 new models that will be that feature wood marquetry, wood dials with marquetry finish on it. This is something that the Maison does very, very often, and these rare handcrafts for 2024 will be on exhibit at Patek Philippe in Geneva. There are 2 really beautiful pieces. I'll leave links in the show notes as always to all the things that we speak about, but I wanted to talk through them because I do think that they are extraordinarily beautiful pieces. The first is actually a pocket watch. It's reference 995-143G. It's called the Portrait of a White Egret. This is an incredibly beautiful piece of artwork where the timepiece's case back is in wood marquetry, portraying a majestic white egret that has incredible detail on it. It's a really beautiful example, and actually I really like the pocket watch itself, which is an 18-karat gold hand guilloche with sunburst motif dial, with a really beautiful blue translucent enamel. It also has brigade numbers and really beautiful hands, and is a kind of a nice sort of contrast compared to the wood marquetry on the back. A really beautiful example, and I'm a huge fan of pocket watches, and it's nice to see that they're still being released and of extraordinary quality. The other one which I really enjoyed was a reference 5089G-129 called The Morning on a Beach. It's a really cool time-only piece from Patek Philippe with a portrait of a surfer crafted in wood marquetry. I enjoy surfing. It's a passion of mine, and the portrait is actually extremely beautiful. It's just a person holding a surfboard, kind of walking over to the right side of the, if you want to call it, to the dial, and then in the background there's a beautiful picture of the of some waves in the background, which I think is a really nice example. I really like the fact that the surfboard actually kind of looks like wood, which obviously kind of describes the wood marquetry that the watch is finished with. It's a time-only piece, just with an hours and minutes hand on the dial, and what's really cool is the hands are hollow on the inside, which allow you to really take in the entirety of the dial. So those 2 pieces will be on exhibit, and I encourage you to go and take a look at them if you are going to be in Geneva during Watches and Wonders. The exhibition will be open to the public from the 13th to the 27th of April at the Patek Philippe Salon in Geneva. And then after Geneva, the Rare Handcrafts 2024 exhibition will be presented from the 7th to the 16th of June at the London boutique. So if you if you will be in any of those locations, I highly encourage you to go and check out that exhibition. Next up, a really cool announcement was the lots that will be sold at the Horological Society of New York's 2024 charity auction at their gala and awards ceremony on Saturday, April 6th. This is something that they do to raise money to continue the mission of the Horological Society of New York to advance the art and science of horology, and the pieces are pretty awesome. So I think there's something here for really everyone, if I'm completely honest. I'll go through the lots really quickly, but if you are interested in partaking, there you can put absentee bids, I believe, on these lots, and I think obviously the money is going to a great cause that I think if you are listening to this podcast you would stand behind, which is to advance watchmaking So this year's lot 1 is going to be an Endeavour wall clock and dinner experience with Edouard and Bertrand Melan, which was donated by H. Moser & Cie. It's a really beautiful wall clock in the Endeavour sort of style, hours, minutes, and seconds hands, but very, very clean dial with sort of that blue sunburst finish to it. A really nice piece. Second is an Oris Bracelet Aquas watch with a unique engraving and 4 premium New York Yankee tickets, which is donated by New York. A pretty cool experience for those who are located locally in New York, and a very beautiful Oris to match. Third is an omakase experience with chef Daisuke Nakazawa, which was donated by Grand Seiko. I believe his omakase experience is very, very difficult to be a part of, and so I think this, for the foodies out there, will be an extremely important and highly sought after lot. The fourth lot is a custom safari jacket donated by the Armory. The Armory has had a relationship with HSNY for quite a while now, and it is a very nice jacket. I highly encourage you to check it out. The estimate's $800 to $1,600. I think it will likely go for more, just considering things. Lot 5 is the Reverso Discovery Workshop that's donated by Juge Lecoultre, where you can go through the experience of the Reverso. A pretty cool experience. Lot 6 is speaking of experiences, is a watchmaking experience donated by Ulysses Nardin and Wempe. So you'll probably have the opportunity to partake in the watchmaking of Ulysses Nardin and the pieces that they produce. Lot 7 is the Etude number 2 Guilloche number 00 watch with a light rose dial donated by the Lyrique group. This is a very beautiful piece, very beautiful guilloche dial that obviously harkens back to a lot of high-end watchmaking and a very beautiful movement to match. And then the final lot is a really interesting and I think this is probably going to get a lot of fans on board. This is an 18 karat gold hand-engraved HSNY 2024 lifetime membership card donated by Voutilainen. So the actual card was done by Voutilainen SA, but this is a lifetime membership to HSNY. As a reminder, all lots are going to be offered with no reserve and no buyer's premium, and 100% of the proceeds will go to the sale of items, or 100% from the sale of the items will go towards HSNY's ongoing educational initiatives, including providing watchmaking students and schools with financial aid. This is in collaboration with Philips in associations with Box and Rousseau. So, a pretty awesome experience that's going to happen this weekend, and very excited to see how things turn out. If you are in the New York area, unfortunately, the gala is sold out, but there will likely be things afterwards. So if you know folks who will be attending the gala, maybe let them know that you'll be in New York. The last watch I wanted to discuss, or the last piece of news that I wanted to discuss, was a very, very cool lot that is selling at the Important Watches auction, or the Important Watches 1 auction held by Sotheby's in Hong Kong. One of the pieces that I think has been covered a lot is lot number, let me find it, 2224. The watch is a reference 2526. Now, this in itself is an extremely important reference from Patek Philippe. It was Patek Philippe's first self-winding wristwatch, as well as an incredibly beautiful enamel dial piece that is in high demand. I think a lot of people have identified the 2526 as somewhat of a Grail Calatrava from Patek Philippe, and 2526s have been extremely popular over the last, let's call it 5 years at auction. This is not any 25-26 though. This is a pretty crazy 25-26, because it was the very first reference 25-26 ever made. I think what makes it even more special is the fact that this was a 25-26 that was made in 1952 and sold to JB Champion in 1953. So you're getting an incredibly historic reference 25-26 that has incredible provenance, being that it was sold to JB Champion, and it's got paperwork from the Henry Stern Watch Agency documenting just that. So for those looking for a 25-26 is a great lot to bid on, but I think there's going to be an incredible amount of competition to get your hands on this. And just so that you know, it comes with paperwork, but there's also a really beautiful inscription on the case back that says, "The first self-winding Patek Philippe made especially for JB Champion." I'll leave a link in the show notes to the lot on the Sotheby's website. There's some information about JB Champion as well that you'll probably find very interesting. But I think this is what makes the auctions so much fun, when you have the opportunity to see some of these exceptionally important lots sell, and can see what they end up selling for. And the competition that they may bring, given their historical significance. I think that will just do it for this episode of the Life on the Wrist podcast. I hope you enjoyed some of the topics that we discussed in this podcast. If you are new to Life on the Wrist, be sure to follow us so you're notified when we upload our podcasts. But it is every Tuesday. And if you are new to Life on the Wrist in general, be sure to go to lifeonthewrist.com. You can see some more of our content. We obviously post videos on our YouTube channel, as well as have some editorial articles that we publish, so there'll be links in the show notes to our website as well. If you are feeling generous and wouldn't mind rating this podcast, it really does help me out and gives me feedback on what you want to hear on the Life on the Wrist podcast going forward. With this said, guys, thank you so much for listening to this podcast, and until next time.